Anxiety. We all get that feeling from time to time that something is terribly wrong or that something bad is bound to happen at any moment based on our current circumstances. It can be caused by stress from work, finances, relationships, and various other sources. It's something we all experience, but prolonged anxiety and stress can be a huge detriment to our health. So the question then becomes, what do we do about this anxiety and how do we find relief? Well, that's what we will explore in this video as we discuss 5 ways to calm your anxiety and start regaining control of your life today. Greetings, my fellow decrepits, invalids, and other sick people. I hope you're doing well today and that you're fighting the good fight. So here on the Fitness with an Illness YouTube channel, we like to explore what health and fitness look like while battling with chronic diseases and other illnesses. If that's something you find interesting, I would really appreciate it if you took a moment to smack that like button, give a ring-a-ding-ding to that notification bell, and maybe even consider subscribing and sharing this content with your family and friends. Now, without further ado, let's get into the video. So, what is anxiety? Well, like any good scholarly gentleman, I decided to hop on over to dictionary.com and see how they defined anxiety. So over here we can see that they define anxiety as a feeling of distress or uneasiness of mind caused by fear of danger or misfortune, or an earnest but tense desire or eagerness. And lastly, a state of apprehension and psychic tension occurring in some forms of mental disorder. And we can see down below here that some of the synonyms are disquiet, worry, foreboding, and fear. So basically it feels like, I lost my car keys and I'm already 10 minutes late for work. I've got a case of the Mondays. It's the middle of allergy season. I didn't eat breakfast and now I'm hangry. I forgot my great Aunt Mary's birthday yesterday. I put my shoes on the wrong feet and now Zuko is meowing and I can't figure out why. Let's just forget that whole thing ever happened. And with that, let's get to our first tip on calming anxiety. Tip number 1 to calm your anxiety is deep breathing. One of the easiest and most effective ways to calm your anxiety is simply to breathe. Not that kind though. We're specifically talking about deep breathing. You know that kind of breathing that most of us do once every 3rd leap year? That one. Deep breathing is known to lower stress, your heart rate, helping create a sense of calm, reduce feelings of anxiety and sometimes even depression, and it also helps lower your blood pressure. I learned that one from my mom.
Thanks, Mom. I know you're watching.
Deep breathing also brings more oxygen to your organs, as well as provides a sense of calm to your nervous system. And fortunately, air is something we all have access to. Unless you live underwater, that is.
How are you? I am under the water. Please help me.
Just a quick heads up, if you stick around for tip number 5, you will learn my personal favorite anxiety device that helps calm me personally, and I hope it'll help you too. Tip number 2 is exercise. Now wait, before you go, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, I hate exercise. Going to the gym causes me anxiety, so why would that help me with my current anxiety? But what I want to tell you is the beautiful thing about exercise is there is a near infinite number of ways you can exercise. You just have to find the one that you personally enjoy the most. There's skiing, tennis, walking, hiking, Pilates, lacrosse, and so many other ways that you can exercise. I personally am a firm believer in the idea that whatever kind of exercise you personally enjoy, and the key word there is enjoy, that is the type of exercise that you should be pursuing. For example, if you have a buddy that really enjoys basketball and wants you to play with them, but you personally suck at basketball, me, then basketball probably isn't the best exercise for you. You want to find something that you're excited about that gets you outside and gets you moving. If going to the gym and pumping iron is not for you, then I wouldn't recommend trying to force yourself to do it. Now, some people love that, and that's great. But what you need to do is find the thing that makes you get up off your feet or get up off your butt and start moving and getting out there and burning some calories. So find what you enjoy. I may not look like it right now, but I used to be a really active and avid runner until about 1.5 years ago when I was diagnosed with a condition known as chronic fatigue that left me sitting in bed for months and months on end. I've been learning to fight through that, but that whole process, along with the side effects of some medications, has definitely left me significantly heavier than I was 1.5 years ago. But that's exactly why I started this YouTube channel. I'm trying to help come alongside other people who are battling with chronic conditions and help each other figure out what fitness and health looks like when we're battling with a chronic disease. Anyway, back to anxiety. Exercise is a great way of relieving stress and anxiety. Have you ever completed a really great workout and at the end of it you feel exhausted, but at the same time you feel like you have finally truly come alive? That's all the stress and anxiety leaving your body. I tend to like to think that I'm just sweating it all out. It's honestly one of my favorite feelings in the whole world, and I really miss that feeling after a good run where it feels like you've just cleansed everything in your body. In the running world, that term is often referred to as a runner's high. It's essentially like a feeling of euphoria, this sense of tranquility after accomplishing something big. And that's a big part of it. That sense of accomplishment you feel after you just did something that took a lot of effort. And it's not every day we get to feel that sense of accomplishment, like we hit a home run at work, or we welcomed a child into the world, or we threw a big celebration just because we wanted to. The exercise is something that we can do daily. And that feeling of accomplishment that we get afterwards gives you that same release of endorphins that you get from completing those big life events. The key difference is that exercise is so much more readily available and accessible, and it's something that we can just go walk outside and experience every single day. So if you're feeling anxious today, I would really encourage you to get outside and move and get in some exercise. You'll be really glad you did when you're done. Tip number 3 is going to be journaling. So it's time to get out that pen and paper, because there's actually a lot of evidence out there that suggests that a little bit of journaling can have a significant impact on reducing your sense of anxiety and stress. Let me explain. There are numerous studies out there that demonstrate that the simple act of journaling is not only great for us to reflect on our lives and the things happening around us, but it's also a great way for us to bring a sense of closure to those big and traumatic events in our lives. You see, naturally as humans, we tend to bottle things up, push through our emotions and push through the turmoil in our lives, but we never really take a chance to stop and deal with those things. And the longer that we let those emotions and that stress build up, the more of a negative effect it's going to have on our lives and on our health. As a result, we end up leaving many issues unresolved, and they weigh us down over time. And the more issues that we don't deal with, the more anxiety builds up. Journaling provides a way of putting all of that emotion out there, putting it on paper, finally allowing ourselves to wrestle with these emotions and find a way to finally move on. A big advocate for the calming and restorative power of journaling is Dr. David Hanscom. Dr. Hanscom believes that many of the ailments that plague our bodies really stem from the mind. And we've all heard that saying that the mind is a powerful place, but I don't think that many of us truly stop to think about just how true that statement really is. In his book, Back in Control, Dr. Hanscom discusses how we can reclaim our minds and therefore our bodies through the power of mindfulness and journaling. He even believes that journaling can actually alleviate a lot of our physical pain. Now, I know that sounds crazy, but according to him and his book, he has helped hundreds of patients relieve their pain, and specifically their back pain.
My back! Oh, my back!
Through the act of simply journaling and writing out all the stresses and emotions of their day and then tearing it up, moving on from it and letting it go. So if you get a chance, you should really check him out. Besides, my grandma's the one that recommended the book, and you always listen to grandma. Now, tip number 4 is going to be meditation. Now, when I say meditation, I'm not talking about this. Although, if that's what you want to do, I'm not going to stop you. That's just really not my cup of tea. But the good news, just like exercise, there are so many forms of meditation that you're bound to find one that works for you. There's deep breathing, like we talked about previously. There's progressive muscle relaxation, where you tense up every muscle in your body one at a time and then release it. Guided meditation, where you listen to a guide, usually in an audio recording, and they talk you through the meditation process. And there's so many other options you can explore. Just do a quick internet search and you're going to find all kinds of ways to meditate. I have personally really enjoyed progressive muscle relaxation, because to me it feels like I can actually physically feel the stress leaving each and every muscle in my body, each and every area of my body. Another form of meditation I personally enjoy is reciting Bible verses. For example, Proverbs 3 verses 5 through 6 says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your paths." But I've also known people who recite poems, quotes, and other forms of literature simply as a means of helping them get their mind off of their current situation and onto something else. Any kind of recitation is a great exercise of practicing mindfulness. The goal of meditation is really just to find a place of peace and tranquility in whatever way works best for you. I've personally discovered that when I meditate more consistently, I feel more relaxed and my blood pressure even improves. The bottom line is simply that when you start to feel anxious and stressed, it's probably time for you to find a quiet place and find a way to decompress and reduce that stress that's bothering you. But remember that just like any new skill, meditation takes time and practice to learn. You're not going to be a pro at it overnight. It takes a lot of skill to be able to shut out all the distractions of work and family and responsibilities and to find a sense of quiet in the middle of all that chaos. Keep working at it and you'll get better at it over time. Before we get to our last tip, I just want to say if you're enjoying this video, I'd really appreciate it if you took a moment to subscribe to the channel. That way you can stay up to date on all things fitness with an illness. We are currently on the road to 100 subscribers by the end of the year. We're currently at 80, so we're not that far away, and with your help, we can do it very soon. So thank you so much. Tip number 5 is going to be anxiety devices. Now, if you've ever searched the word anxiety in a search engine, pretty much guarantee that over the next couple days, your feed blew up with all kinds of anxiety devices claiming that if you purchase this particular product, that it'll cure your anxiety instantly and you'll finally be able to relax. I'm here to tell you that most of those are not going to help you very much, and let me explain why. Any kind of anxiety device is not actually going to get to the root of the problem. What is making you feel stressed in the first place? Any kind of tool you buy for anxiety isn't going to change the fact that work is still stressful, your family member is sick, or the finances are not looking good right now. So even if the device helps temporarily, it's not going to help you overcome those stresses, and it certainly won't help you resolve them and work towards reducing those stresses permanently. And this may not be what you want to hear, but the reality is there is no quick fix for anxiety. And in order to make progress on your anxiety, you're going to have to learn to face it head on in some capacity and find the calm and the peace within those chaotic and hectic moments. Now, with that said, in a moment, I will recommend one device I personally have gotten a lot of good use out of, but first I want to recommend some easy and free everyday devices you can use right now. Get a book. The great J.R.R. Tolkien, my personal favorite author of all time, the author of Lord of the Rings, often said that literature, and especially fantasy, fiction in general, is a form of escapism. Fiction allows us a glimpse of the fleeting world that exists outside of our four walls. Many people today use fiction and literature as a means of escape from the real world and to give them a break from the stresses of day-to-day life. Now, I recommend a book personally as compared to a movie or a TV show because I think it engages your mind a little bit more, and sometimes our devices can cause even more stress than we realize. And one nice thing with reading a book is that you get to watch these fictional characters wrestle with their own stresses and anxiety, and it's possible that by doing so, you could actually learn how to deal with your own stresses and anxieties by watching these fictional characters. I believe there's a lot we can learn from fiction, so grab a book and read it. You can also listen to relaxing music. You can do anything from like classical to the piano guys or two cellos, but there's a lot of studies out there actually talking about how classical music in particular, because it's generally very calming, has a very great impact on reducing stress in our bodies. But there's so many tools out there we can use to help reduce stress and anxiety in our lives. You could be playing an instrument, building something, doing arts and crafts, or simply confiding in a trusted friend. All of these are quote-unquote anxiety devices that you likely have access to already. So just take a moment and think about the things that you enjoy and the things you already have around your house. You might be able to use some of those things to help reduce your anxiety. But if you do want some kind of tangible anxiety device, the one that I can personally recommend would be the Calm Carry. So this is the Calm Carry device. I have a full-length review on this device. I'll leave it down in the description if you're interested. But this is how the Calm Carry works. There's a few buttons here on the side. In the middle, there's a power button. You hold it to turn it on. This little center button right here is where you want to place your finger, is what I do, your ring finger, but the instructions actually say to put it kind of more facing your palm. You put it into your palm and you find the spot where you can feel a pulse in your hand. Once you can feel that pulse, then you know you're doing it right. What this does is it stimulates the vagus nerve, which runs all the way up our arm and into our ear. It's a nerve that plays a huge role in our stress response. So what this simply does is it pulsates on that nerve and activates it, helping us to calm down our body and to help us relax. I use this thing several hours every single week. I take it with me everywhere I go, because with my chronic fatigue, one of the annoying symptoms I have is that when I start to get tired, my body really starts to twitch and shake. When I use this, it really helps calm down my body, help create a sense of calm. So it's something I can really personally recommend. It has helped me a lot. So if you are looking for something tangible, I can recommend this. I'll leave a link down to their website as well. I believe this typically runs for around $80. Don't quote me on that. It's been a while since I've looked at their website, but I do know from time to time it goes on sale for around $50. So if you are interested but you want to save some money, keep an eye out for a sale. That's going to be it for my list of 5 tips for calming your anxiety. If you have any tips, feel free to leave them down below in the comment section. You never know if your comment may help someone else with their health struggles. So if you have something to share, please share it down below. This channel is meant to be a community of sick people coming alongside one another, trying to figure out how we can get better and stay healthy despite our conditions we are dealing with. And as always, if you stuck around to the end of this video, I just want to say thank you so much for sharing your time with me. I really hope this was an encouragement to you. And my friends, I just hope that you continue to fight the good fight, take it one day at a time. And with that, we will see you in the next one. God bless you. Take care of yourselves.